Welcome back to the Rated R for Wrestling channel. You know what time it is. It's that time of the month where we get to the predictions for the pay-per-views, and we have double duty on this one. We have SummerSlam and NXT Takeover 36, and I'm joined by the OG crew for predictions on this channel. Dan from DWE and Mekz from WrestleManiac UK. Appreciate you guys for joining me once again.
No problem, man. It's great being here with you guys. So let's do what we do best. Let's guess these matches.
Yes, so I want to cut into our overall rankings since we started like this crew of guys for these predictions. We currently sit me at the top at 14-2, Mekz and Dan tied at 11-5. So this is going to be a big one because we have a lot of matches to cover, a lot of good choices, bad choices, wrong choices, and right choices. So we're going to get into this. But at first, since we're starting with SummerSlam, I'll kick it over to Mekz. Mekz, how do you feel about SummerSlam and the build so far going up?
Well, coming towards SummerSlam, like a month or two before, we were kind of being told that this was going to be like the WrestleMania show of the year.
Yep.
And it seems like they tried to get a lot of people in, namely the likes of Lesnar and stuff. Of course, John Cena came back and tried to get celebrities on the show and everything. And it's all kind of just went to nothing. And it doesn't feel like the WrestleMania of this summer at all, or the WrestleMania of the year. Just feels like another kind of show. But I'm sure, you know, aesthetically, once we're watching the actual show, it's going to look like a big show. It's going to look like an important show. And of course, in terms of building towards it, storyline wise, it's WWE. They've done like a mediocre job here and there and stuff. Roman Reigns and John Cena, I think they've just sold us on the fact it's Roman Reigns and John Cena. No real story's been told there, but that's a massive marquee match, main event. And yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to Sasha and Bianca as well.
Well, I definitely agree with you in terms of just the way the show is going to look. It's obviously going to be presented as the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania type level show. But yeah, the build itself, be honest with you, like the build for this past WrestleMania wasn't that great either, but just knowing that it's WrestleMania made it feel bigger than it actually was. But Dan, how do you feel about SummerSlam and the build up to it so far?
Well, it is the biggest party of the summer. I can't think of anything bigger than 70,000 fans in a stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. And for me, it's just SummerSlam, and like for me, the build don't matter as much anymore. I think in storylines, people have shorter attention spans. So to me, you know, we're gonna forget about the bad build when Roman Reigns and Cena are putting on a 5-star classic on Saturday night.
I mean, yeah, it's true. Like the story is it's John Cena versus Roman Reigns. That's all there really is to it. It's a story that kind of books itself. You don't have to, put a ton of effort into it. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but they have chosen not to put too much effort into it, which may be good, may be bad, depending on who you talk to. We got our first comment from Eddie. Thank you for joining us. If Roman and Lashley had the title until Survivor Series, I want to see Reigns versus Kross versus Lashley. Winner takes all 3 titles. That would be awesome, but it'll never happen though. It'll never happen, but that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, no chance they're doing. I don't think they'll go near the kind of double championship thing again for a while. But yeah, we're just mentioning Roman versus John Cena. I think a very easy storyline could have been, all those years ago, whenever it was 2017, when Cena basically buried Roman on TV. Roman could have just came back and said, I'm not that guy anymore, and something along those lines, which I guess he has somewhat, but they could have just really leaned into that story to help tell this story. Same way, what Seth Rollins and Edge are doing, leaning into what happened in 2014 to tell their current day story. But yeah, they just told us that, John Cena, greatest of all time, versus Roman, tribal chief. Yeah, that's what you're getting at SummerSlam, and that's it.
Yeah, and it's been like, they're banking on the name value of it all. Obviously, there is a lot of name value, and Roman's pretty much just been dismissing Cena as like nothing to him, which he has every other opponent he's faced. So I appreciate the consistency in that aspect. But before we get into the predictions, I always want to start off. Dan, what do you think out of 5 SummerSlam?
I don't want to overshoot the hype, but I gotta go big. I think 5 out of 5. We're going for it. Why not? It's a stacked card. I feel like this card is a lot bigger than WrestleMania. It does feel that way. And to me, it just it just seems like it's gonna be a fun show. It's gonna be quite, just a fun show, a fun environment. So I'm going 5 out of 5.
There you go. I mean, it would be Dan if he didn't go big on it. Super positive. Love to see it. Mekz, what about you? Out of 5 SummerSlam?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good show. And to be fair to WWE, a lot of their pay-per-views in the last 12 months, 18 months even, have been the highlight of the programming. I'm going to go with 4 out of 5. I think you're going to get a really, really fun show. And, anything from down to surprises or shock wins, shock factor, could push that up to a 5. But, yeah, I'll go for 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd agree with you too as well, Max. I'd probably go with a 4 out of 5 as well. Maybe a 4.25 or 4.37, something like weird, like, decimal point type thing right there. Ethan Hill, yo guys, Ethan, thank you for joining us. What is going on? Appreciate you for tuning in. Let us know your predictions in the chat, man. Everybody let us know who do you think is going to win what and how and when and all that stuff. Zach, my guy Zach from West Coast Popcast. Zach, little known fact, I bought one of the West Coast Popcast t-shirts. I'm waiting for it to come in on the mail. So, if you got a merch shop, I'll buy your merch. Cena not put effort into something, put him on the kickoff. Imagine the kickoff show, the biggest kickoff show, the grandest kickoff show of them all. Cena reigns, Universal title.
Literally, that'll be funny.
Supersonic X, thank you for joining us, Noob and Co. I would see Roman win because I know that everyone wants Cena to break Ric Flair's 16 title reign. It's true. I mean, that is on the line. That massive accomplishment of, what is it? Maybe 17.
Yeah.
It's, massive accomplishments. They're on the table. What do you guys think?
I don't think Cena's ever gonna break it. I think it's like a respectful thing within wrestling. Like, I'm always gonna try and break the Ric Flair record, and he never will. Like, I can't see it happening.
It's one of those things that you kind of just always want to keep around. Mills Dom, hey Mills, how you doing? Evening last SummerSlam should be decent. Dan with the trademark mug of tea.
Every video, it's got to be done.
There you go. Love the consistency from Dan there with the same mug of tea.
Dan's living up to the British stereotype.
It is all the British stereotypes.
You love to see it. Mills, thank you for joining us. Eddie, what do you think will happen if Cena lose? I want him to have one last rivalry against Orton or Edge.
Oh.
If Cena loses, what should happen is, Finn comes out and wants his pound of flesh. Because ultimately Finn has lost his opportunity because of Cena. But if Cena loses, he's probably just, quantum leaping back to Hollywood. So, yeah.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, I don't see him doing a ton if he doesn't stick around immediately. Now, the shows after SummerSlam, he has some appearances. Like the one I'm scheduled to go to at Madison Square Garden in September, he's supposed to be there because it's supposed to be like a super SmackDown. I think they're going to start going back to those super shows where they have both brands on the shows. We could start seeing that in the future because that one is advertised as a super show and Cena's supposed to be there. So we might get Cena, Finn, as Finn tries to go for Roman, if Roman is the one to retain, because it seems like that's where it's headed. But with all that out of the way, we all agree it's going to be a good show. We don't think it's going to be a stinker. They haven't had one in a long time. They're due for one, but I don't think it's going to be this one. Now, this definitely, the first match we're going to cover is going to be a stinker, and it's this one right here. It's Alexa Bliss taking on Eva Marie along with Doudrop. Now, Eva Marie has yet to have a singles match because she's had Doudrop, I think, fight all her matches for her. Will she do that in this match? I doubt it. I think she'll actually have to get in the ring, but I really can't wait to see how cringy the stuff with Lily's going to be and all the try to supernatural nonsense to try to throw out there in front of this Vegas crowd who might not be having it. But I'll kick it over to Mekz first. What do you think is going to go on this match?
Well, firstly, when people are always like, "Oh, Eva Marie can't wrestle this, that, and the other," my initial response is like, "When have you seen her wrestle?" Because I mean, I don't know when I've ever seen her wrestle. Maybe sometime in NXT, which was, literally maybe about 4-5 years ago. Like, I don't know what she's like in the ring. We see pictures of her or videos of her training and stuff, but like, I mean, she might be decent. Who knows? Like, we don't actually see her wrestle at all, really. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the meaning of this entire feud is, really and truly. I can't even really remember when these guys crossed paths. Yeah, I watch Raw religiously every Monday. I will go for an Alexa Bliss win because she's got the superpowers and stuff like that. Maybe Doudrop betrays Eva Marie somehow, leaves her high and dry. Who knows? But yeah, for me, an Alexa Bliss win.
Yeah, I think it's an easy call there in certain aspects. Yeah, I think Doudrop will play a big role whether she turns on Eva Marie or not. But Dan, what do you think about this match? Are you excited for it? And like, who do you think is going to win? And are you happy with what's going on here?
I think this is awful. I gotta be honest, this is awful. It's just awful. This is my cup of tea break match. This is
It is
not my toilet break match, my cup of tea break match. Because I'm gonna need one to like get myself through it. This Lily stuff, it's nonsense. I gotta explain to my mates. Yeah, I watch wrestling. Yeah, I do wrestling. Then they're gonna be like, "Oh, so you watch a doll that creeps wrestlers out?" Like, oh, it's a disgrace. Honestly, I said, Alexa, this. I want this match to be a minute at most.
So you think it's gonna be a squash match? Now, will this be a pre-show match? Like, let's what's the over/under on this being a pre-show, and or if not this, what else? Because it's a pretty stacked card.
I think a pre-show would be a good place for this, to be honest.
Yes, right.
I don't want to see any of the tag team matches on the pre-show or anything like that. I think this could be a pretty good place and actually intrigue the crowd somewhat on the pre-show. They can do some supernatural crap to sell to us, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think ultimately when I saw that this match got announced as a match on SummerSlam, I thought this was an absolute disgrace. There's people like Kevin Owens not on this card at all. The Intercontinental Championship, new champions not on the card, and this has a place on the card, and it's just like, come on, guys.
It's sad stuff that you see that the IC title not being on the card is a travesty. It's the biggest show of the in between part of the year. It's a huge show. To waste it with this match, it's like it's gonna be bad. Like you just know it is. There's no chance it's not. But I'm still going for the biggest pulling the veil kind of moment of the year, where she actually a tremendous in-ring performer. Eva Marie, Hurricane Rana's everything out, like she just does everything. I'm holding out hope that may be the case, but I doubt it. Yeah, we could be shocked. Supersonic X. If you want the match to be more entertaining and interesting, Asuka, who posted a tweet of Photoshop her zombie form on Lily, so maybe Asuka might be Lily and Alexa Bliss winning. I mean, that's interesting. That's the way you bring back Asuka into the fold. She's technically actually Lily. It might be an interesting little thing. I mean, I could see them trying to pull something off like that with all the, stuff they try to do with Lily, with her moving and blinking and all that stuff like that.
One of my followers on Instagram asked me today, in fact, where's Asuka? And I was like, at first my brain was like, who? Then I was like, oh my God, Asuka hasn't been on TV for weeks. Like, what is going on there?
Yeah, it's weird because like I have her missing poster in the back of my on my reviews. Right? She's out there as a missing person, right? That's from one of my viewers. They recommended me do that. But yeah, she's been gone. This is the time period that she should have left, not now, but after WrestleMania, because what she did after WrestleMania was completely useless, and I don't think did her any good. She should have took this break after WrestleMania. But I mean, does she come back as Lily? I don't know, but it might be kind of interesting if it does happen. So we're all picking Alexa Bliss across the board for this match. Watch us all be wrong, and Eva Marie destroys her, and we all lose. So we'll all take an L on this one. But let's kick it over to the next match on SummerSlam, and it's this one: Raw Tag Team Titles, AJ Styles and Omos versus Randy Orton, Riddle, RK Bro. RK Bro is officially reunited and back together. They're challenging for the Raw Tag Team Titles. This could be the tag team of the next 5 years, the most hyped tag team in the next 5 years. It's a lot of fun seeing these two guys together. I don't think their run is going to be super long because obviously Randy Orton doesn't play well with others. He'll probably RKO him eventually down the line and do the feud. But I do think it's set up for them to win these titles because they have the most momentum out of any tag team in WWE by a mile. So other than MSK, they need to get these titles. They need to win this. They need to bring some excitement. They're the best thing on Monday Night Raw, which isn't saying much, but in terms of entertainment, they're the best thing, and I'm excited to see them win. But Dan, what do you think about this match?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is like one of the matches that we've probably predicted a while ago. We knew everything was going to lead to this. It is the two best tag. Like, Riddle is Raw at the moment, I feel. Everything he's touched has turned into golden Raw. Even when he's not with Randy, he can still entertain. With the segment with Cena was fun. Again, he literally is the main man carrying Raw, in my opinion. And I think they're going to win. They deserve it. The only thing that is putting it out in my mind is how is Omos actually going to lose? Because he's been booked to be unbeatable. And he's, as soon as he's in the ring, it's game over. But, I think they'll find a way around it. And I think we can have a nice fun reign with Orton and Riddle. And Orton as a tag champ, that's quite a rare thing, which you never thought you'd see. But I know it has happened in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty interesting to see how Omos is the one taken. He has to be taken out of this match for them to lose. Will he turn on AJ after the fact if they do lose? And where does he go after this? Because they've set him up, teased him against the likes of a Drew McIntyre, of a big name talent, and he stood toe to toe with them. So does he go that route? Does he go for the United States title? It's like you've booked him into a corner a bit because like he's so unstoppable. Who beats him? How do you beat him? When do you beat him? And who do you put him up next if RK Bro does win this match? But Mekz, what do you think about this match?
Pretty much what Dan said. Like, in my opinion, this has been probably one of the best booked storylines in the last few months. Riddle has been a shining star on Raw all year before this story even began. And it's all culminating, in this SummerSlam match. We knew that we were gonna somehow get down the line. They gave us a bit of a swerve. I think it was last week or so when Randy Orton came back and RKO'd him. But yeah, they've kind of fixed their relationship. And the typical, it's just a standard story which they've told well. There's conflict. Should I trust this guy? Should I not? Should I be in tag team with him or should I not? He trusts him now. We're gonna have the match. Even on the other side of things, AJ Styles and Omos, there's a bit of dissent. There's a bit of tension between the two at times, with AJ still thinking he's basically like Omos's master, but Omos is become his own man, sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's inevitable. Randy Orton and Riddle for the win. For me, like you said, I can't see it lasting long because that's not Randy Orton's game. But yeah, it'll be very interesting. And even like I say, on the AJ Styles Omos side of things, if they split up, we see maybe Omos go at it alone. AJ Styles return into the main men's singles division. I think there's some good stuff they can do there also.
Yeah, I mean they're in need of stars, so AJ is obviously a star that they can put back into the singles competition. Again, what do you do with Omos? The way they've booked him, the way they've set him up, how do you work him out of this? Orton, I would like to see him in an extended tag team run. I think it might be a nice change of pace for him. Keep him fresh, keep him entertaining, keep him out there. Will be a lot of fun, but they do run the chance of it kind of running its course in the middle, and you're kind of like, I'm tired of this team already. So it has to be played by ear and how it's going to work out. It will be a lot of fun though, how that turns out. All right, here chilling at the beach when I heard a reminder for this video, how to support my cousin Eric, Drip. Thank you, Eric, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Supersonic, but instead took a break too late after Money in the Bank and got fans pissed off and complaining. But hey, I'm glad that Asuka is getting a break from WWE television. Yeah, it's the wrong time for her break to happen. It should have happened right after WrestleMania. Eddie, to be honest with you, even if Randy Orton reunited with Riddle, I don't see these teams them to team long. Randy will go for the WWE title sooner or later. Yeah, it's just not his game, right? That's just not his style. He's been with tag teams before. Rated RKO was like my favorite tag team of all time. I think barely lasted like a month or two. Didn't have a long run. But yeah, he doesn't play well with others, so it's not going to last a while. Maybe they can be champs for a while if Riddle is okay with getting RKO after all their matches, win or lose. That could be pretty fun. Supersonic, Orton, RKO, Omos, that'll be the way for the internet to go wild. That's going to be an interesting one if he hits the RKO out of nowhere from Omos. So quickly, Mekz, how would you think that would go down? Like, how would he have to get Omos to hit him with RKO?
I think you'd have to jump off the top rope and do it, because even the other day when they are having a match on Raw and he tried to do it and he just couldn't bend Omos's head. Like, yeah, Orton has to go up top and go flying off the top rope and catch his head and just go. I think that's the best way, and it'll make a good visual. Definitely
would. Dan, do you see Omos jumping off the top rope and getting caught with the RKO out of nowhere or not?
Well, Omos won't be jumping off the top. Randy will, but I think they might do it in a way where Orton goes for it. They push off Orton, and Riddle actually hits it, and I think the crowd will just go crazy for that. If Riddle just hits it completely out of nowhere, and that's how they won. That's a massive crowd popping moment.
Yeah, with Riddle being a little bit more athletic than Randy, he could probably pull it off with like maybe a off the top rope move, and he just hits the RKO from there. Be a lot of fun. Millsdom, AJ is wasted in a tag team. With Omos, I think he is. If it would have been somebody else like comparable to AJ in terms of star power and notoriety, I think it would have been better. You could have made like a kind of a super team with AJ and somebody else. I think it's the fact that it's just Omos, a big guy, nobody really knows him, seems kind of green. That's the problem that I think he makes him more wasted in the tag team.
The only, I don't want to see AJ in a tag team for the rest of his WWE days because his days are numbered. He's probably mid-40s. I want to see him have another like main singles men's run. If there is any person I want to see AJ in a tag team with, I would have to say it's Finn Balor. Just give us that. Let the internet fans go mad for a while, and then that's it. But I want to see AJ in a singles capacity. He probably doesn't have much longer left in the ring.
I'm still going for a Balor, AJ, Adam Cole if he stays around, trio faction type of thing. I think that'll be the most awesome thing WWE could do, and I think they'll get a lot of people tuning in just to see that crew. Eddie, I would like to see Randy and Edge as a tag team in the future. So would I. I would love to see them get back together, reform rated RKO. Be a ton of fun if they can do it again. It'll be super awesome. Randy Orton had RKO the Great Khali many years ago. Pretty sure you will RKO Omos. I mean, Omos moves a lot better than Khali ever did. So I think it'd probably be a lot easier to hit it on him there. Ethan, I think Becky going to return at SummerSlam and interrupt one of the women's matches? ? Funny he brings that up because we are going to jump into one of the women's matches. We're going to jump into that triple threat. And it's this match right here. Nikki ASH superhero in training, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, the proverbial every time in a main event champion for the women's division. They're taking on a triple threat. Now, it feels like Nikki ASH is one hell of a transitional champion, and she's just here to kind of take the fall so these other two can kind of not take the L. I do think Charlotte comes out on top and they just give her the title back again after her dropping it. And I'm picking Charlotte because I don't really think Rhea Ripley had much of a great run. And I think Charlotte versus a Becky, if Becky's doing a return, like Ethan said, makes more sense.
I think the booking getting to this match has just been all over the place. Like even on Monday night, we saw Nikki get pinned. I'm sure we saw Rhea get pinned.
Yep.
Obviously Charlotte got pinned a couple of weeks before that by Nikki. They're just taking turns to take the fall at this point, and no one's kind of really looking strong going into this match. We know that Charlotte is, the perennial winner, or all the time sort of thing. But yeah, I'm actually sticking with Nikki to retain. I think through the whole mess of a booking on Monday night, for me, it just looks like anyone can win, anyone can beat anyone, and that's the kind of what they're showing us. So I'm actually gonna go for Nikki getting the pin, and who knows, that may be off the back of a Becky distraction, and she rolls up Charlotte or rolls up Rhea Ripley. But I think Nikki's gonna retain.
That's the interesting thing. So like you bring back Becky, but she's not put into the title picture immediately. She has a in-between feud with somebody who's a main eventer. Get her back in there, and then she can eventually. That's actually a good idea. So you're picking Nikki ASH for this match, correct, Mekz?
Yeah, it sounds nuts, doesn't it? But yeah, that's who I'm backing.
All right. What about you, Dan? Who are you taking in this one?
So I've got Nikki as well. For me, she was such a good cash, and I think it's a shame if she wastes it by not having a long title run. And like this new gimmick, it's got a lot of momentum, so I feel like why waste? Like why would she lose? And like I think the triple threat suits her more because Charlotte and Rhea will just beat the living hell out of each other, and then she can sneak in and get a pin.
That's interesting, man. You guys are both going with Nikki ASH. I'm surprised by that one, to be honest with you. I mean, like, damn, I didn't think you guys were going to go both Nikki ASH. She just feels like such a transitional champion. But again, like Mekz said, they've been trading wins back and forth, and kind of like this person's on top, this person's on top. Now, let's go into the traditional wrestling formula that whoever stands tall at the go home loses at the pay-per-view. So who stood tall on Monday Night Raw? I believe it was Charlotte at the end.
Yeah, so Charlotte pinned Rhea Ripley, but before Rhea Ripley pinned Nikki.
Okay. So shit. You guys are probably right then. Nikki ASH may end up winning because she seems to have the least momentum going in. I don't know. I was not expecting you guys to say that one. That's pretty funny though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, like you said, she does feel like a transitional champion. That's 100%. I don't necessarily agree with Dan. I don't think she'll be holding this title for long. I just think she'll hold it past Sunday or Saturday. So who knows? She might drop the title on Monday, But yeah, I think in this particular match, she has 33.3% chance of winning. So
Well,
why not?
funny that you said that, because Eric says Charlotte and Ripley cancel each other out, so Nikki Ash gets the win. It makes sense.
There it
Happens
is.
all the time. They tend to cancel each other out. I mean, yeah, it's a total possibility of that going down. Supersonic Bullet Club long enough to insult the Young Bucks. Yeah, I mean, it'll be a shot at the Young Bucks and the Elite if they have their own version of the Bullet Club Elite on WWE programming. That'd be a lot of fun if they do it. How many times Charlotte won the title? Laughing my ass off. I think if she wins, she's going like 11 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, right. So should be at 17 in no time. Mills Dom, something tells me Nikki to retain and WWE are going to shove her down our throat whether we like it or not. You will eat your vegetables whether you like it or not. That's WWE's like motto when it comes to talent. We're gonna give you this even if you don't like it. You're gonna take it no matter what. What do you guys think? Do you think what do you think Mills is correct here, that she's gonna win and then they're gonna keep shoving that down our throat?
Not necessarily. That's why, not my opinion. I think she wins on Saturday, but I don't think she'll be champion for like much longer. Maybe till the next pay-per-view. Because especially if the likes of Becky comes back, we need to kind of restore a bit more seriousness to the women's division, I would think, before Becky was to become champion again. So I think she's gonna retain on Saturday, but I don't think this is gonna be like a long reign.
Well, Dan thinks, right? You think she'll have a bit of a longer reign, correct, with this title?
Yeah, I reckon she go to Survivor Series and then drop it around Survivor Series time. I know. I don't know why. I can't see her losing for some reason. And then also, she hits that WWE demographic that they love.
True.
Good kids, young kids. She's gonna shift a lot of merch, superhero stuff, and that is one of WWE's main demographics. So I think that's where they go in with it.
Well, I mean, like her gimmick is like set up to push merch, but does she have any merch as of right now, like a T-shirt or something like that?
She does, and I think it's absolutely awful. There's one that I saw, a T-shirt, a blue T-shirt that said "Almost a Superhero."
Nice.
And then there's another one that just has that butterfly logo she's using, just a butterfly in the middle of the T-shirt. So. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Mekz, it's not made for us.
I know, 100%. But like, I think, we say, this is like kid focused and all that kind of stuff. But it would be very interesting to see the actual numbers of who's buying this stuff and how the demographic is actually working. If it's actually attracting kids, the kids actually like this. So, yeah.
Well, it's gonna have the same effect like Nintendo does, right? Like they come out with the same stuff over and over again, but everybody buys it for their kids, so they make a ton of money. So it could be the same thing, like a bunch of butterfly T-shirts, and they just buy it for the kids. Like I didn't know if she had a shirt. Yeah, I thought they were gonna wait until SummerSlam to kind of drop it. But if she has a shirt and if she's moving merch, she'll hold on to this title, man. I'm still in shock. You guys both pick Nikki ASH. Just funny. All right. So the booking of Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley has been a disaster. I don't know if it was their match at WrestleMania last year or they've been with Asuka earlier this year or a combination of the both. It's been weird because their first feud was well done, but ever since then it's been all downhill really. And I think it's just, I don't know, the WWE changed their booking when it comes to the women's division or what, but it's been a kind of a mess since that WrestleMania match between the two of them.
I think that since the WrestleMania match, we're talking about the NXT title match, right? I think Rhea Ripley's confidence has been knocked a lot. Even on NXT, they messed around with her booking. There was no clear direction. Obviously, the pandemic didn't help with that as well, and maybe kind of knocked plans they had for her. And to be honest, I think she is the person that's kind of not really got back to her regular self. Maybe been a bit of a character change of what they want her to do on TV as well, which doesn't help. But those two have got it because we've seen it in that WrestleMania match that you spoke of. But yeah, since then I just feel like something hasn't clicked, and I probably put it more on Rhea Ripley than Charlotte.
I would as well. I'd agree with you there. Yeah, I think it's more on her. If you had to put the blame on somebody, I think it's more her. Maybe it's just not, I don't know, maybe the character's just not fitting on the main roster. And I don't feel like they've done anything really to her to make it seem that way. I just think maybe the character just wasn't as strong as they thought it was.
It could be just this dialogue stuff, all of these scripts that they're given, and maybe she had a bit more free reign on NXT and stuff like that. But from one thing I have seen, obviously, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like since the live crowds came back, we're seeing a lot more footage of house shows, like on social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And every time Rhea Ripley comes out, the crowd are going ballistic for her. They absolutely love her. But somehow that I don't feel like that when I'm watching Raw. But like the live crowd at the house shows love her to bits. Like, you know, it's crazy. She's clearly got a fan base there. So they just need to sort out the character, get her back rolling. Because, you know, when she was doing good stuff in NXT UK and NXT, she was on top. She was brilliant. So yeah, just need to get her back to that.
It might be the way that she came in and just took the title off of Asuka, maybe too, as well. Like she just showed up and was like, I want the title match at WrestleMania. That's kind of like, that's not the best thing in the world for fans to kind of see like, oh, she just comes up and she automatically gets a title shot. It's like kind of one of those things. Maybe that was it. But Eric, WWE never shoves stuff down our throats. Cough. Goldberg, cough. Ryback, cough. $9.99 WWE Network. Now it's the Peacock Network. That's what they call it. They push it now. Yeah. Zach, Ash will win. Bunch of merch coming in the next few weeks. There you go. Money talks, man. That's all that matters, man. Whoever moves the merch is whoever's on top. And you'll be styled in hours. Thanks. Yeah, of course, man. I saw. I think it was Eric wearing the shirt, and I was like, I think I just got a merch shop. I'm gonna go buy something. Eddie, what do you think about Lashley versus Goldberg? If Lashley wins, I want him to face Lesnar at WrestleMania. If Goldberg wins, I want him to face Lesnar at Survivor Series and Lesnar squash Goldberg. I don't think to go down the Lesnar Goldberg route again, right, guys? I don't know if you're in agreement with that. I don't think they'll go back down that route. Yeah.
I got a hot take on this. I think Lesnar's done, in my opinion. I honestly think maybe he'll have one more match at Mania, and then I think he's gone for good. I don't think he wants to wrestle anymore. It's like his heart wasn't in it for a long time, but I think he's just fully done now. I don't think he's not going to come back.
Well, I think he's tired of like the back and forth, right? Like the finishes. Remember that you've seen him that video where he throws the title at McMahon after the WrestleMania match, you know, and he shouts asshole back at him. So it's funny because like that finish went back and forth. Like you're losing, no, he's winning, you're losing, then he's winning. I don't think he wants to deal with that anymore. There's just the chaos.
Yeah, I think you know, Lesnar has always been someone that just wants a peaceful life. He just wants to turn up to work, get his paycheck, and walk out. He doesn't need the drama. He doesn't need the changes and this, that, and the other. And to be honest, for me, in terms of performance level, although he is still a spectacle, he could just run in there, suplex someone, and you've gasped. You're like, oh my god, he's killed him. Yeah. But you know, he is kind of slowing down. You know, in recent times and recent performances. And to be honest, there's only 2 matches left for him, in my opinion, in WWE. Roman Reigns, whilst, you know, Roman Reigns is with Paul Heyman, and Bobby Lashley, which I think is more than deserved by Bobby Lashley. That's the match that's almost brought him back to WWE in 2016 or 2017. And yeah, he hasn't got it. So yeah, I think those are the only 2 competitors we'll see, not Goldberg, if Lesnar is to come back. But like Dan, I do pretty much think Lesnar might be done.
I would agree with that as well. Probably, I think the Lashley match is the last match they want to do, or a Roman match. Lashley Lesnar has been one of those matches, like you're saying, Mekz. It's like they should have done that like years ago, and they just never done it. Now I hope they don't. It's not the same magnitude as Sting Undertaker, but it could be at the spot where like the match they should have done when they had the chance, they just never did it. But Lashley Lesnar is the way to go. I don't think, you know, Lashley stands any chance of actually losing this title match against Goldberg. We'll get to a little bit later, but I just think that's the match they should have went with. They should go with it. And if he's done, I at least want to see him one time on Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-view with the ponytail. You know, with the little bun thing. I think it's a good look for him, honestly. I think it looks good on him.
It does suit him. It 100% suits him.
It's so weird how that suits him, right? Like that man bun ponitail suits him. So weird. All right, so we got that match out with the women's title match. Kick to another match that's kind of just it's there on the card. Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal. Obviously, these guys have a ton of history together. We all knew this match was coming because there's a lot of rumors at WrestleMania time that they want to push Jinder McIntyre, and we're getting it. It's all been about a sword. He has no Veer and Shanky can be at ringside. You know, is he gonna stab somebody with the sword? I doubt it, but they keep alluding to it. He won't ever do it. But I just think McIntyre I think it's obvious that McIntyre wins this match, in my opinion, because I just think they want to get McIntyre back in the fold and kind of get him running again, so that when Survivor Series or Rumble time starts, he's one of the favorites to win that match and get another title shot.
But can I say, yeah, if Drew McIntyre can't challenge for the WWE title whilst Lashley is is there a point in him winning this match?
Yes.
Yeah,
Because he's going to
that's a good
SmackDown.
point.
Because he's going to SmackDown.
He's
Fair
going to
enough.
SmackDown, yeah.
I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, for me, I watch this feud every week, and I feel like Jinder hasn't actually done anything in this feud. It's been between Drew and obviously Jinder sending out Veer and Shanky, but yeah, Jinder hasn't done anything. Like, I'm not sure if there should be all this kind of heat there. And at the same time, I would be, I like Jinder. I would give Jinder a win, and I wouldn't mind it at all. But I'll go with Drew McIntyre. I think Drew's gonna come out on top here, keeping him strong and that. But yeah, if Jinder wins, I wouldn't mind at all.
Not a ton of meat on the bone when it comes to this feud either. It's like started over like you didn't text me back. You took like 2 days to text me back, stuff like that. It's very like shaky grounds on the why this feud has started. But I don't know. It's a weird one. But Dan, what do you think?
I think this match is actually going to surprise a lot of people. I think people are underestimating. Like, they're going to let this go 20 minutes, and they are going to put on a hell of a match. I honestly think they are. They've gun mates, which makes matches better. If they they know each other well. Jinder can go. People forget Jinder can actually go in the ring, and you got Drew. He's doing all this sword fighting, and I felt like it has been a bit long, but I'm gonna go Jinder. I think it's time for the modern day Maharaja to come back. WWE India, to get the Indian market, and the Maharaja is a good gimmick. I think I feel like he's gonna win, and it'd just be more fuel to the fire. We can get another star in Jinder Mahal.
That is true. That's a good point. Like, you got another guy who's in the mix there for the championship, and that's always good to have. So Jinder could be a guy to win this match and get that catapulting like back into the main event picture. It's gonna be interesting, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. I think they're going too much into Drew's like heritage type of stuff. I think they're going too much down that road. I think they got to make it more into just like a straight up. He doesn't need to talk so much. I think he talks a little bit too much and is too like boisterous, and he's like out there and he's like very like animated. I think he needs to go back to more of a stoic kind of like, I mean, I guess I kind of like a Roman where he's more stoic, but not just like Roman, but McIntyre's version of that. I think he fits better because he has the look of somebody like that, more of a silent, confident, powerful person. I don't know. It's just
no, you're correct. They really kind of in the last year and a half, they've turned him into a gimmick. When he broke up with, if you guys remember, he was doing that Dogs of War stuff with Braun Strowman and I think Dolph Ziggler. And then when they broke up off that, and this was just before he won the Royal Rumble, like November, December, before he won the Royal Rumble. He was literally, they were sending him out week after week. He was just literally killing guys in the ring and then walking out. And that's when the momentum started building towards Royal Rumble. Then as we got closer to the Royal Rumble, that's when he started doing that Claymore countdown thing and getting the whole crowd to do 3, 2, 1 and all that stuff. And then that's for me when I started knowing that they're putting the engine behind this guy. He's gonna win the Royal Rumble. They're gonna turn him into some gimmick, and that's who we see today, the Scottish Warrior. But if they kind of pull it back in with Drew, but at the same time, I guess he's their only face, top level face.
Yeah.
Jinder could win, like we're saying, and they could use that to build a star, but Jinder is a heel. So where do we then go? Sort of thing. So I think Drew McIntyre, like you said, if they move him over to SmackDown, that could probably, give him a new lease of life sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good shot in the arm for him to go over there and maybe kind of change the thing and not being so commercial. Because that's what it felt like. Yeah, we were saying, like, they put the machine behind them, everything. They're trying to market the 3-2-1 Claymore country, stuff like that. Like, it's a lot of stuff they're trying to market. I understand it, but it takes away some of it from him. Interesting. C Nation Dog. What's up, C Nation Dog? Thank you for joining us. He says, sorry, I want Goldberg to win the WWE Championship.
Oh,
why?
There you go. He has his reasons, but like I'm not, I know Dan, you be down with that, right? With Goldberg winning?
I don't know. I like Goldberg, but I just found the video before this explicitly saying that you cannot have a 54-year-old world champion in Goldberg.
You can't. It's tough. Yeah.
So I like him. I hope he still wrestles. I want Goldberg to still wrestle and wrestle more. I just not in a championship capacity.
But yeah, I would agree as well. Eric, I feel that this feud ain't helping Jinder become a top heel. He should be by now. Kind of surprised he ain't future endeavored yet, but he should be a top heel by now. Yeah, he's been gone for so long. He fell off a cliff since losing that title, and he just hasn't never really kind of returned. And he should be a top heel. I mean, he probably should be. He has the look of one, of a guy who should be in the main event picture. And, you know, it doesn't make any sense as to why he isn't, because you do need heels, you need you need top guys just in general, especially on Monday Night Raw.
He got injured, so Jinder got injured again, obviously shortly after he won the title, so that's what kept him off. And obviously we're just seeing him again now. But Jinder, he's not like the greatest or most interesting wrestler, like in ring. That's one thing. Promo wise, I mean, he can talk, but you know, he's not like, you know, MJF levels of heel or someone like that. So there's a couple things missing from his game, you know, to really believe it again, I guess. When he was world champion in 2017, I really enjoyed the run. I might be one of the only people in the world that can say that, but I actually really, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, there's only so many times you can go to the well of, you know, I'm the guy from another foreign country cussing USA, and you know, if he has a big run again, what is his run going to be about? And you know, that's where Jinder probably falls short.
I'd agree with you. I like this run too with the, you know, with the two guys he had with him, Bollywood Boys. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, especially when Randy was just tossing those guys around. But it's good to have those guys. Now he has a different aspect now with the two guys he has, which are bigger than he is for the most part, you know, in Sheeran and Veer and Shanky. So it's kind of a different way. So maybe they're trying to play off of that, but have two guys that can, you know, actually put a hurting on guys rather than the Bollywood Boys just getting a beating all the whole time. Eddie says, I think Jinder will win, and he will have probably more matches in the end McIntyre win. Okay, so he's saying the feud is going to continue to go, and McIntyre wins it out in another pay-per-view, which I could see happening. I mean, they haven't had like a match as their first match, so it makes sense. Jinder is injury prone. Maybe that's why he ain't where he should be. I guess, yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Goldberg is 54 and puts his body on the line for our entertainment. Playing the guilt card there. I think that's a guilt card from Z Nation. Kervin Abreu, thank you for joining us. Jinder versus Drew Punjabi prison match next pay-per-view. I think they're buying the time to bring it back. They got to bring it back. I mean, eventually, it was such a bad match idea. They just got to bring it back. Just they got to bring back great. They got to have that match next pay per view. Great Balls of Fire. That's what they got to do.
Didn't Randy Orton and Jinder have a Punjabi prison match?
Yes, I think it was.
Came out.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right about that. Jinder is a jobber. Not know why he got a push. That's a hot take from C Nation Dog right there. Mills Dom, Goldberg's liability in the ring, proven it time and time again. Someone else that WWE forces upon us. He has been a bit of a liability recently. He has gotten injured almost. I mean, he almost killed the Undertaker. It's rough. Yeah. C Nation Dog, AEW may be getting better than WWE, and I'm not an AEW mark. I say WWE was better than AEW before, but Dynamite was good. I think they're more like even now. I think they do certain things that are good in WWE and certain things that are bad. Same thing for AEW. Now the problem is AEW, nobody really calls them out so much on some of the bad things they do because they are like the alternative. They're anti WWE. They're not the big corporate wrestling company. So I think WWE gets a lot of hate that AEW should get as well. I mean, Big Show is gonna have a match on one of your biggest pay-per-views, like against QT Marshall. That's like what's the point of that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that, you need to call them out on, rather than just, you know, praise everything they do. Jinder Mahal has better henchmen than other heels. Yeah. Drew McIntyre will win this one. Okay. Supersonic picking Drew McIntyre. He does not only put his body on the line for our entertainment, but also for that fat check. That is true. He does get a big fat paycheck. Goldberg does. I admit Jinder Mahal has gotten better since his 3MB days. Yeah. They all gotten better pretty much. Yeah. Your thoughts about AEW signing too many WWE talent, good for business or not? Not if it's too many guys. It's not if it's too many guys. And we're a little off topic here, but we'll cover it really quickly. I think it's bad in the long term, especially when you're trying to market yourself, because a lot of times the posters are going to start showing guys who've been in WWE more than guys that are actually AEW homegrown when you start promoting outside of the market. So I think that's a problem. Also the age, also where they fall on the card. Also, if, you know, are they winning titles or not? I think that's the problem.
I think
for me, it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. Like with Andrade and Aleister Black, because in WWE they were always the potential guys, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know, and because WWE never tapped into the potential, it makes sense because AEW can show them to a big audience that with their tapped in potential and more accomplished versions of themselves. Whereas like Big Show, you know, what's his potential? How bigger is he actually gonna go than what he hit in WWE? He's not. So that's where, you know, some don't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for
that's my
me,
take on.
pretty much the same. You know, we can't complain that we never see Aleister Black being used, we never see Andrade being used, and then when they go to another company to be used, we're complaining that the company take all WWE guys. That makes zero sense. Even with some of the older guys they bring in, Christian, CM Punk, Bryan, if that's all gonna happen, I think the usage of them is very smart. Like even with Christian now, okay, Christian's just won the Impact World Championship, and with the relationship with other companies, Christian can now go over to Impact to kind of free up that space on Dynamite for somebody else. And they can have that rotating door where, you know, Bryan might come in, yes, as an ex-WWE guy, but then if he goes to do a stint in New Japan, then all of a sudden he's not on Dynamite every week. And it gives the younger talent some space to kind of flourish as well. So I think a good mix of them. You know, they're still trying to build a company. They need these names to build a company because it's what we are in terms of wrestling fans, is what we're familiar with. So yeah, as long as they're signing the right talents, that's good for business and ready to do business the right way. Then yeah, I don't think there's an issue with it at all.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Like the fact that it's all about roster management and how when you bring these guys in, how you manage them and where you put them and how you kind of intertwine them in and out. Now, interesting thing somebody brought up to me. I made a pros and cons of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan AEW. Somebody was like, it may be a good thing for them not to be there long term. So CM Punk comes in first. By the time Daniel Bryan comes in, they don't really overlap too much. CM Punk kind of goes out for a little bit, and one of them is kind of always on the show when the other one isn't. So you still have that name value of the two of them being on there. So it's just all about how you manage the roster. Now, I do think they have a massive roster, too massive to be honest. But if they sign guys that have been underutilized in terms of, you know, they're not guys that are just like the Big Show, Mark Henry, Christian Cage. I think guys like Andrade, guys like Malachi Black, guys like that, even guys like Everrise, that team 2.0, you bring those guys that never been utilized that well, kind of slide them in and use them as pieces to the puzzle. And depending on how big they get is depending on how big they get. But it's all about roster management in the end, how you kind of control these assets that you have. It'd be interesting to see when these guys show up and how they end up. I don't even care too much about them being there. I want to see how they handle it all. I think that's the most interesting part to me is how they move these guys around and how they move them around. All right, so that match out of the way. Let's kick it over to the United States Championship. Damian Priest challenging Sheamus, the United States champion, for the US title. Damian Priest came back after the zombie disaster, zombie lumberjack, and he's gotten on a bit of a roll. He's got the best of Miz and Morrison, and now he's set his sights on Sheamus, and I think this is his time to win this title. Hopefully Sheamus goes to the main event after this, and honestly, that's what I hope. But I think Damian Priest is the guy to win. Dan, what about you?
For me, right, Priest, he's got that cool factor to him, and he is just cool. Like the way he acts his entrance, the whole thing, he does the archery thing, the whole fire when his name comes up. And I think he's liked across all fan bases as well, all demographics. And with Sheamus, right, I think he was better fitted for the main event. They should have pulled the trigger at him just after WrestleMania when he was hot. He was more hotter than what he is now.
Yeah.
I feel like Sheamus, he's at, what was he had? He had that really good match at Mania with Riddle. And then it's mid-card feuds, Humberto Carrillo, Ricochet, Mansoor. You know, it's nothing noteworthy. Whereas, you know, give it to Priest, give it to the guy who's got the cool factor. You know, you can get that relevancy back then with the title, and you can build Sheamus main event or have him do something else. But Sheamus has been a bit of a disappointing reign for me. But you know, give it to the guy who's hot, and that's Priest.
I agree with you. He fell off a little bit after. He was the hottest that he was like after WrestleMania. Like after he had that match against Drew at the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, whatever the hell that was, Fastlane, yeah. That he was the hottest he was at that point. Yeah, like he's faced guys that just haven't been up to his level in terms of how momentum they had. But what about you, Max? What do you think about this match?
I mean, everything is kind of pointing at Damian Priest getting the win, but at the same time, I'm just, just thinking with what you guys are just saying, we haven't really seen Sheamus have this US Championship run because for a long period during the run, he's been injured.
Yeah.
Now, if he is still suffering with this injury, they may just use this opportunity to take the belt off him, let him really rest up his nose or whatever, and maybe circle back round to Damian Priest, Sheamus when he's fit. But if he is fine and kind of just using the mask as a gimmick now, this could actually be like the start of his US Championship run if they care to leave it on him, and maybe Damian Priest wins it at the next pay-per-view. Who knows? Because obviously, Miz and Morrison are kind of intertwined in this story one way or the other as well. So they could play a factor in the finish. Who knows? But to just go with the obvious of what it looks like, I'll back Damian Priest for the win here.
Yeah, I do agree with you though. Like, that's a good point, is that they may try to make his title run start kind of now because of the injury stuff before. So it makes sense. It's gonna be interesting to see, but I do think Priest just has all the momentum. You could tell that they want to push Damian Priest to a spot where they want to get him to, because they wouldn't have put him at Bad Bunny if they didn't. That's a big spot for him to be in. What do you think about The Fiend? Do you think they will bring him back to WWE? We've talked about this before. I think they do. Now, I don't want to go into my conspiracy theory stuff, man, because I go down the rabbit hole when it comes to this WWE conspiracy thing. I think they got a master plan, to be honest with you, WWE, and it's diabolical in how much of a good plan it is. It's like, we're not making a ton of money off of you now compared to what we pay you. We'll release you. People love you and hate us because we released you. They want to see you after we release you. You go somewhere else. They're happy to see you. They're excited to see you. They love everything you do because you're not in WWE anymore. And then when it runs its course, we bring you back in and we make a ton more money off of you, and we don't sign you to the same contract you had before. To be honest with you, I just think that's the plan that they do in WWE. I think that's their grand master plan.
Like, I mean, I don't know about all of that. I don't know. I mean, Bray Wyatt, for me, he might turn up in AEW or somewhere else. To me, I wouldn't be surprised if he's done with wrestling altogether and kind of goes into making, like, producing horror films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just really don't know. But, it was very abrupt for the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, to just be dismissed how he was. Rumors were that that particular week he was meant to return to TV. He was just cleared. I don't even know right now. I don't even know if we see him in wrestling again, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this guy turns up. I'm still sticking by my story. I think they have a nefarious plan going on here where they're just
your plan. I think that's the Braun Strowman plan.
True.
Yeah.
I think 100% that is the Braun Strowman plan.
Yeah.
To bring him back sometime later down the line on a smaller contract when they've got something for him. I think that's 100% the plan for him. But I just think that Bray Wyatt might be done.
I can see, because he's dealing with the mental health stuff, but he was cleared. The rumor is he was cleared to come back like a couple weeks before they released him. So there's a lot going on there. The Roman Reigns and John Cena Universal title feud should have been booked better, but when they finally make it good, they're doing it too late. SummerSlam is this Saturday. Yeah, so they had the big promo like last week, and then they have what's going on this week. So they waited a little bit of time to kind of get the more meat on the bone there. So it's kind of interesting. Eddie, if CM Punk debut in AEW, I want to see him against Chris Jericho or Kenny Omega. I think that's what they're setting up with the fact that they put Christian Cage against Kenny at All Out and took Hangman out of the equation. It's gonna be interesting what they do there going forward. This is an interesting thing. We have two interesting characters in the chat right now. Number one is Mark Henry. So, where's my chicken? Me and the Big Show are hungry. And then Big Show will go on to say, Mark, come on, man. I'm hungry.
Someone's got a lot of time on their hands.
There you go. I mean, shout out to Big Show and Mark Henry for being in the chat. Priest for the win. Hopefully Sheamus will go after the WWE title. Hopefully they can get some heat on him and he can get up there. See Nation Dog, I'm hyped for SummerSlam. So glad Riddle is getting over, one of my favorite wrestlers in WWE right now. Yeah. I want to try Bootios and Bro Nuts. They never pulled the trigger on that Bro Nuts thing right here.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't think John Cena beating Reigns at SummerSlam, because I think Randy Orton will be 17-time world champion sooner or later. I mean, I always heard the rumor was they wanted to have both of them go after it when they're both 16 and kind of get number 17 there. I don't know how true that is, but
yeah. I mean, they're the closest active guys to it. I can't even believe they made John Cena tie 16. To be completely honest,
That is true.
So,
Sports fan, thank you for joining us. Do you see McIntyre move to SmackDown? Yeah, I think McIntyre is better suited on SmackDown. They need him against Reigns if that's supposed to happen. I think that's his most viable opponent. If you look at the entire current roster, not talking about part-timers, anything like that, it's Drew McIntyre's his most formidable foe we saw during the Survivor Series stuff. All right, so back to Sun. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to give my hot take.
Yeah.
I think, if they moved him across, Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns will be next year's WrestleMania main event.
Yes, sir.
In 2022, because Reigns has beaten him twice now. I think they had a match at WrestleMania 35. They had the Survivor Series match, and he's just dismissed him. Every time Roman speaks of Drew, he's my favorite number 2, just completely dismisses him. So, and I think Drew is the next, top guy that they have in terms of younger guys, not bringing back anyone. So I think that is the WrestleMania main event for next year, and that's when Drew will probably get his actual big win in front of an entire crowd, maybe win the Universal Championship.
That means he would have a 2.5-year run going into that WrestleMania, somewhere around that range, 2.5 year, I think, which I'm down for. I mean, I've said it before as well. Like, I think Drew versus Roman next year at WrestleMania is banger. That's what you got to go with. And I think 2.5-year title run for Roman Reigns is like the sweet spot right there. Currently. All right, so kick it over to the next match here. Father and son taking on brothers for those SmackDown Tag Team titles. Remember, at Money in the Bank, we saw these two men, Jay and Jimmy Uso, win those SmackDown Tag Team titles from the Mysterios. The breakup seems to be brewing for the Mysterios, father versus son, which I can't wait for. I think that's an awesome story if done correctly. If they can kind of book it correctly, father versus son, awesome stuff. Some other stuff, some stuff we haven't really seen a lot of previously, especially on a bigger stage. But I think the breakup happens here, or it leads even more into the breakup. It may not happen at this match, but you see it really brewing after this match as the Usos retain. What do you think, Mekz?
Yeah, I think the Usos are going to retain. That's my guess. The bloodline are just running riot right now, sort of thing, and I don't think that's going to change. And the little tiff between the Mysterios is quite interesting. What I would love is for Rey Mysterio to turn heel on his son, sort of thing. But we just have never seen Rey Mysterio, at least in WWE, playing that kind of character. I think in WCW early days when he was with the Filthy Animals, I think they could kind of heelish and stuff like that. But we've just never seen Rey Mysterio in this kind of character. And I think rather than Dominic turning on him, which is what everyone kind of predicts, Rey turning on his son, I think just getting really mad, like, oh, you're losing us matches, this, that, and the other. He slaps him, and whatever the case is, I think that could be a lot of fun.
And it's easy to book too, because you have Rey turning on him because he's losing the matches. He's like, I'm gonna teach my son a lesson. Right now, like, I'm gonna beat him up. We're gonna have a match. I'm gonna teach him a lesson. I gotta toughen him up, type of stuff. That it writes itself. It's awesome stuff. Because that's a great shot by you, Mekz. I think that's awesome to have Mysterio be the one to turn Rey, not Dominic. Dan, what do you think about this tag team title match?
Yeah, this is quite a predictable one. I think the Usos, especially after how shortly Dom and Rey lost, I think they've realized, maybe there's something that they thought was there that just isn't there with them as an actual tag team. But yeah, like I said, Rey turning on Dom now, I think people will remember that more than if Dom did. Because you look at Dom, he looks too much of a baby face. Like, he literally does. You can't look at him and go, oh, he's a mean heel. Rey, Rey does look actually more meaner than Dom's, with the master tattoos. Yeah, and that would be, I think Dom would get more out of that than if Dom turned heel, because I think he'd get way more out of it. And yes, that'd be quite fun. But yeah, I think they'll keep them as a team. Probably if they do the turn, it'll have to be at the Rumble for me. Have Dom accidentally eliminate Rey, and Rey's like, you can build it to where Rey's like, oh, this is my last Rumble, this is my last chance at winning a world title, that sort of thing. Really high stakes.
The timing has been off. So, like, I wanted them to win the tag team titles at WrestleMania so they could build to SummerSlam as the breakup and have the big SummerSlam match them two against each other at SummerSlam. So I think they're behind on the timing. So they may try to push it to Survivor Series if they're not going to do the brand versus brand nonsense. Or that's a long time to take it to the Rumble. That's like, I'm interested to see how they would book it going down that way. But you need that cataclysmic event to kind of make the turn happen. Does it start here, end at the Rumble? I'm not sure, but that's a great call though by Mekz. Like Ray turning, that's the call, because this guy looks he's too much of a kid. He's only he's 19, 20 years old. He looks too young to be like taken seriously as a heel. When we go to the chat real quick, because C Nation Dog is already started with his Karrion Kross hate. He's bringing us in already. Jobber Kross should be a jobber. He's nothing without Scarlett. These guys taking hot takes. Since Scarlett sing Karrion Kross theme song, Karrion Kross will sing Scarlett's theme song. LOL. All right, so the tables have turned there. The Cross hate is real from C Nation Dog. WrestleMania 40, John Cena and Randy Orton for the vacated WWE Championship. Winner becomes a 17-time world champion. People won't be happy by that if it happens at WrestleMania, but it's a pretty cool like concept. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know how we'll get to WrestleMania 40 and see if these guys are still intact to go for it and have a world title run, but yeah, like I said, personally, I don't want to see anyone break this record. I think it's just maybe one of those things that should stay.
Yeah, like the streak that should have just stayed, like it's stuff like that just timeless records just stay like that. The TM Entertainment channel, thank you for joining us. What if the Usos are pretending to be on Roman's side until he's vulnerable, and then the Usos turn on Roman and cost him the title at SummerSlam? Imagine that plot twist. Don't even bring that into the ether of the world, because I don't want to see that go down. Especially not now. I want to see that like maybe 2.5 years down the road or something like that. But I mean, it's one hell of a plot twist, because it's viable for it to happen. It's a way to take the title off of Roman. Like I said before, they have a problem with Roman Reigns and how they get the belts off of him. They don't have anybody believably beat him, other than I think Drew McIntyre, like me and Mekz said, for next year's WrestleMania. But yeah, I think the bloodline is something they got to run with for a while. But that would be a hell of a plot twist. I'm not gonna lie.
I think one nice way you could do it, I was just brainstorming while you were speaking. I think we've seen in the past the Usos and the respect that they have for the New Day, that kind of competitive respect that those two teams have. And if we were to see something like, Big E go to cash in or something like that on Roman, and the Usos kind of don't stop it, like they just kind of let Uso in E cash in, because that's someone they have like some type of mutual respect for, and obviously we saw them basically pave the way for Kofi Mania to happen. That was all the Usos, yeah, there is potential there for a couple of for them to kind of turn on Roman for a couple of things, but like you said, I still want to see this go on for at least another year plus. So
it's got time. You got to let it burn. You got to let that thing burn, man. You can't get it too good. If the Usos lose the title, I see it Roman losing soon too. I don't think they will lose. I don't think they'll lose like close to each other, but I think it may set the seeds for like a Roman, like a whole bloodline collapse or something like that. That'd be one way to go about it.
Roman's not losing till WrestleMania at the earliest.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the earliest time he's going to lose this title.
This is an interesting question for a sports fan. Who on the current roster would you like to see wrestle Walter? I think Roman, Drew, Lashley, Rey Mysterio.
You want to see a murder?
Yes, I want to see the optics of just how that would go down. Walter versus Rey. It just kind of see that go down.
Samoa Joe, I think.
I forgot Samoa Joe. Yeah, you're right.
100%.
Why Ray turn to Dominic when he can have Dominic turn on Ray will be more epic. It's just because like we've been saying, like I think he's just his face is like too young, he's like soft. For him. Yeah, very like soft baby face. Like he just doesn't have like the grizzled look for him to be taken seriously as like a heel. Like Dan was saying, would be cool if Dominic turned on Rey Mysterio, then had shirt Eddie is my puppy, but they probably wouldn't do it. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm glad the Mysterios didn't win the SmackDown Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania, because then the Dirty Dogs would have a short reign. I mean, if you're a fan of Dirty Dogs, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think Ray was ever heel in his career. No, I don't think so either. I think he's always
in WCW.
When he took his mask off, he was part of the Dirty Animals, the Filthy Animals. Yeah. So I think they were good guys. To be honest, I can't even remember.
Okay, I thought they had a little heel run, but yeah.
Crowning of the 17-time world champion should happen at WrestleMania. If not that, SummerSlam or Royal Rumble. It should be a big pay-per-view, but I think it'll get a ton of heat if it's at WrestleMania. If they broke Undertaker's streak, pretty sure they will break Ric Flair's record. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. But like, it's like, you know, this is interesting.
They shouldn't. We're saying that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're probably right, Eddie.
This comment right here is from Get DUI, Get Free Title Match. What about Naomi joining Roman Reigns? That's the thing, right? Like, why? Like, they got to put Naomi in there because she's technically part of the bloodline. She's married into the family. Makes sense.
Did you see Roman Reigns' comments this past week?
Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean in terms of Naomi joining.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so he said what you said, but yeah, he was on like this call. I think it was in the same conference call, and they asked him about Naomi joining, and he said like it's something they've all kind of spoken about, but nothing has been drawn up in terms of plans because they just haven't had any time to put anything concrete together. But Roman basically said, with obviously her husband, Usos being there, Paul Heyman being there, himself being there, there is enough there for her to join and them to really cultivate something. So I mean, it's something that's out there that he's speaking about. So maybe we might see it down the line.
I mean, it would be cool because like then you have another aspect of it. You have the women's division aspect of it. Like she can hold the women's title, and you have everybody has championships. It's a lot of fun because the whole family thing. To Boyts 123, thank you for joining us. Personally, I'm most hyped for Alexa versus Eva. Eva is the best in wrestling. You love to see it, man. There's the Eva love out there, the evolution. What the evolution is, we still don't know. But I think she's gonna surprise everybody. To be honest with me, she's gonna surprise the hell out of everybody. I'm hoping, anyways. All right, so that match out of the way. We have 4 more matches to cover on SummerSlam. They're gonna jump into NXT quickly. So next match: Seth versus Rollins. The Drip God versus the Rated R Superstar match is set up back from 2014 when Edge was still retired. Now they're running back. Now they're coming back to it now in 2021 and have this match, a dream match. Many people have said, and I think Rollins needs to be the guy to win this match. He needs it more than Edge, even though Edge is coming off losses when it comes to Roman Reigns. I just think it makes more sense to give it to Rollins. What do you think, Dan?
Honestly, this is the dream match, and this is what we want. As soon as Edge came back, this was the first thing fans are calling to. And like this has been probably one of the best built matches, I'd say, going into SummerSlam. And like I honestly think like this will be a contender for this will definitely be up there for one of the matches. Like I'm gonna go Edge. I think I think Edge needs it, and I think if we're gonna have Roman retaining, Usos retaining, we'll have a lot of heels winning. I think they're going to switch it up a bit. And, they got to keep that thing of, oh, my God, it's Edge. He will actually lose his edge, I think, if he loses 2 big matches back to back.
Yeah.
So, and also, I'm sure they might revisit Roman vs. Edge because of just how good the match was at Money in the Bank. Or even Edge vs. John Cena if Cena was to win. So I'm going to go Edge with a nice crowd-popping victory.
It's interesting because it all depends on what they plan on doing with Edge after this, right? Like that plays a massive role. If they have big plans for what Edge is supposed to do, then Edge seemingly should win this match. But it's also like, what do you have for Rollins going in after this? What do you think, Mekz?
And there lies the problem. Exactly what you just said. With Edge, Edge is my pick, but the issue is that it's all because Edge has lost at Mania, Edge has lost at Money in the Bank. He has to win at some point, and now we're gonna give it to him over Rollins. And then guess what's going to happen with Edge? He's going to be off TV probably till at least Survivor Series or Rumble or something. We're not going to see Edge. So why does he need to win, sort of thing? But I guess you need to keep, the top guys somewhat. But at the same time, Rollins is the one that's going to stick around, and he's now going to take, a high profile loss against Edge in my prediction. So how do we now rebuild Rollins? Because before he got involved with Edge, Rollins should have been going for the Universal Championship. So yeah, it's one of them kind of situations where the booking it leaves a lot of questions, more questions than answers. But I think Edge is going to get the win. Like I said, he's had a lot of big match losses, so I guess he needs to pick up a win somewhere.
Yeah, in that vein, it makes more sense, right, for him to get it because he's taken so many losses. But like, it's so tough of a decision to make because where the hell do either of these two guys go after this? Because ain't none of them beating Roman anytime soon. So it's like, where do they go going forward? Tough decisions to make. Only way I see Roman losing the title is at WrestleMania 39 against The Rock. if that match ever does happen, they give the title to The Rock. I don't know, man. I don't think I go over well.
That match doesn't need a title. That's why I think he can drop that title to Drew and then have like a kind of like a yearish long build, kind of like what they did with Cena, and they could just face each other. Then no title necessary.
Yeah, exactly. If Naomi joins Roman, Heyman, and the Usos, she needs to turn heel because it's more fitting. Yeah, she's gonna have to do something dastardly, and kind of fall in line, right, with the rest of the family. To avoid all jokes about the Eva Marie stuff, he says, "I hate Eva,
my God.
but I love Alexa. I got my own Lily." There you go. You love to see
God. Oh, goodness gracious.
I got Edge winning. All right, another one for Edge right there. All right, what else we got here? I see Nation Dog. Seth Rollins should win because it should be more passing of the torch match. And after the match, Edge says, "You are the new opportunist."
No.
I mean, you could go that way, you know. Seth Rollins needs the win and Edge needs the win, but Edge is a part-timer, so give the win to Seth Rollins.
I agree. I don't want to see Edge win.
I don't want to see him either, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's gonna happen. But it's definitely that passing of the torch situation. That's what makes this a dream match, because of, you know, so many things within their careers kind of align somehow. But yeah, I think it's Edge to win.
The boy says, "I got Edge because Edge lost at WrestleMania and then Money in the Bank. I'm not a fan of the Seth character, but Seth could definitely win. And if he does, you could argue it's one of his best wins of his career." I think this and the title match that he won at WrestleMania 32, if the 2 or 31, whatever one it was, 31. Yeah, it's the two biggest matches of his career that he's ever won. This is interesting though. Get DUI, get free title match. Says easy. Do another match on pay-per-view. Edge, Beth Phoenix versus Seth and Becky Lynch. Similar to what was it, the Baron Corbin Lacey Evans pairing.
I don't think they're gonna go back to the well of putting Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins on TV together. It didn't really go down well the first time, as they thought it would. So yeah, I don't think they'll do that again.
I don't think they'll go that route either again. All right, so next match. Bianca Belair, the SmackDown Women's Champion, taking on Sasha Banks in a rematch from WrestleMania. We all knew it was headed here after WrestleMania. We knew Sasha was going to come back and then challenge down the road 6 months later at SummerSlam. I have Sasha Banks winning this match. Short and simple. I just think Bianca hasn't really been has the best title run, and I think she needs to be a heel. I think WWE does a terrible job of booking baby faces and how they talk and how they carry themselves. I just think it's bad stuff. I think Sasha needs to win this match. Mekz, what about you?
To be honest, I think not that they've done a great job. It might just be Bianca's natural charisma. She's done okay as a baby face. It's not been great, but it's been okay. They clearly rate her a lot. Looking at Rhea Ripley, she won the women's title the same weekend, the WrestleMania, that Rhea Ripley won hers, and you could see the different trajectories of both women. Bianca Belair seems that she's sent out to do a lot of like the media stuff. They're trusting her with that kind of position as well now. And make appearances at this show and all that. So I think they've really got some stock in her. However, this is Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks has come back in the last few weeks. The level of everything around this feud, this title, has just raised just by that much. I'm very confused on this match. Who should, who's gonna walk out as champion? I'll back the champion. I'll go with Bianca Belair to retain here, but I'm very much in favor if they were gonna do a switcheroo. Sasha wins the title, and Bianca chases her down, and they have that kind of thing. That could be pretty interesting as well. But yeah, I think I'll stick with Bianca for the win.
There you go, Bianca for the win. What about you, Dan? What do you think?
No, it's going to get a big. This is a big marquee match. I think. Out of all the women's matches that WWE can do, this rematch is one of the biggest. Like Mania, they blew everyone's expectations out the water. I felt like I couldn't care of that match going in. After it, I thought it was the best match across both nights. And for me, I think Sasha wins. This new heel, the way she came out on SmackDown, she looked like she mean business. And, it'd be great for her to come back, get a win, hit the reset button with Bianca. The last thing you want is her getting too stale and having fans turn on her. So, it is a good time for her to lose her and, there's a lot they can do with Sasha there before Sasha has to go off and do another big movie or a TV show. So let's try to get as much use out of Sasha as we can.
There you go. Yeah. So like you try to get as much Sasha as you can and kind of rework Bianca into like molding into kind of presenting her as more fresher look. Cause like I said, they just have a terrible time of booking baby faces. They have no idea what they're doing when it comes to booking baby faces. So I picked Sasha, Mekz picked Bianca, Dan picked Sasha. All right. So the next thing we're going to cover right now is everybody's favorite, Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley for that WWE Championship. Goldberg is back. He's with his son, Gage, who looks completely different from the last time we saw him. And he's taking on Bobby Lashley. I mean, this is the match we all thought was going to be Lesnar, but we're getting Goldberg. He's back. I don't think he's winning. I don't think it'd be the right move. I think it'd be a bad idea. He's going to lose 2 big matches in 1 year, calendar year. But who really cares? I mean, honestly, like who really cares if he loses the match? It doesn't really hurt him. He's Goldberg. He's a legend. He still has the name value, all that stuff like that. I think they just couldn't get Lesnar, so they picked Goldberg. I think that's what ended up happening here. But I'm picking Lashley for the win. I don't think it's that much of a chance that Lashley loses. Dan, what about you?
Lashley, this match is going to be a class, though. I honestly, Goldberg matches are quite fun to watch. Like his match with Drew was so much fun to watch at the Rumble. Just, you go straight into the spear, through the table, through the barricade. MVP might get clocked by Gabe. It's just going to be a fun, quick 5-minute, just power off 2 big men going at it. Lashley will win. And like that will really cement how good of a champion Lashley is. If you beat he's beaten Drew, you beat Goldberg. But what is left for Lashley after? That's my concern. And I feel like a lot of the concern with following SummerSlam is what's left for after. Like, you're going to have to put AJ maybe back in there, Sheamus, Orton, even in a world, because I can't think off the top of my head who Lashley's got left to face after he beats Goldberg.
Yeah, that's why I think that Big E will probably get drafted over to Raw, and then Big E's the guy to take the title off him with the cash in. Mekz, what do you think about Goldberg, Lashley?
Pretty much what Dan said. I do think we're going to get a pretty, high impact, exciting match. Won't last long, but Lashley gets the win. For me, I'm not a fan of Goldberg losing to Drew Well, I am a fan of Drew McIntyre beating Goldberg at Rumble. Let me not get that confused on the internet. But the thing is, him jumping straight back into a WWE Championship match when he returns is what I'm not a fan of. And if he, like you said, if he loses now this match, that's 2 high-profile matches, 2 championship matches in the same calendar year. Why should he ever come back and just say that, I need another championship match? You're clearly not up there. You're clearly not levels to be challenging the champion. You see what I mean? So
yeah,
the whole gimmick of him coming back and losing is a bit. And to be honest, I think that's where things with Brock Lesnar lies a bit as well. Like, I can come back and face your champion Bobby Lashley, but if I'm just gonna lose, like I lost to Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, if I'm just here to put guys over, it's not really fun for me. Do you see what I mean? So I know Goldberg's is more money orientated and just kind of showing his son who he was and stuff like that. But I think Lashley wins. The Goldberg shine for me as bringing him in as a credible challenger will definitely fall off straight after if he does lose, which I'm expecting him to. But for me, in terms of challenges, which Dan spoke about, there's an opportunity for Bobby Lashley. I mean, to lose that title still on the night. Big E can cash in. Big E, I don't know, again, if you guys saw it's like footage from the house show, he came out, in his towel over the weekend when Kofi Kingston was giving Bobby Lashley a trouble in paradise, and he came out kind of celebrating in jokey fashion. So he's clearly still got an eye on what the New Day are doing. Obviously, New Day were beaten up quite badly the last few months by Bobby Lashley. So we could see a cash in straight off the back of this match, because there's a lack of faces on Raw, top level faces that can take on Lashley. So this could be a very quick opportunity for them to do their whole trade thing, cash in, and Big E walks out of SummerSlam as the WWE champion.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to do it because like you don't have to wait for the draft. You can kind of just get it done now and knock it out on a big stage and end the show. Well, not end the show because Roman ends the show, but like end that match with a big kind of pop, and then Big E's there, and then you have your set up your feud until Survivor Series is like Big E, Bobby Lashley. That's your feud going forward, and it will work out pretty good. To boys 123, I got a question for you all. Do you see Becky returning on Saturday? I seen people saying it. I don't think so. She's teased it. I mean, before, like for the past pay-per-view, like Money in the Bank, she said she was there. She took a picture. She was outside the arena. She was backstage. Mekz, you said she was gonna come out Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean, she was there. all of these pay-per-views, she's been there.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's just whatever plans they have for her. I mean, if we see it, we see it in the Raw Women's Championship match. But I don't know. I'm just past. I don't want to kind of get my hopes up again, so I'll just say no, we're not going to see her, and if we see her, we'll be excited to see her.
And better just think of it as a surprise and not even worry about it, because it's going to be a tough guessing game trying to figure that one out. Becky Lynch should not be back with Seth Rollins. That was cringe, almost as cringe as The Fiend Alexa Bliss. Z Nation Dog, a known not fan of The Fiend Alexa Bliss. Eddie, if Rock win the title, he can easily relinquish the title like Becky to Asuka. I don't think that'll hit as well because Becky had the excuse of she was pregnant. Yeah. If Rock just does, it's like, oh, I'm going back to Hollywood. Kind of here you guys go. Type of thing.
That's not good. Relinquishing the title, even when Becky done it, I'm not like a fan of that sort of thing. But yeah, obviously hers was understandable. But yeah.
Exactly. To boy 123, I just subscribed. Thank you. Really do appreciate it. In the link below, I mean, in the description section below, you have Mekz and DWE's channel. Make sure you sub to their channels as well. I do appreciate again for subscribing to the channel. Much appreciated, man. C Nation Dog, not to be rude, Becky Lynch doesn't have to return to wrestling, but if she is, she's having a really long break. I don't know. She might come back. I don't know. It's like the thing is like, it depends, right? She's not gonna do the whole traveling circus thing because she has a kid at home now. So it's like, does she do it? It's kind of, she may not be there for long. She takes breaks in between and stuff like that because it's gonna be kind of hard. You may not like Goldberg, but you have to admit when you lost, you love that feeling that you not want Goldberg to win while I do. I mean, like I don't want him to win, but I don't hate Goldberg. I don't have I'm not one of those guys like Goldberg, I'm tired of seeing him. It's just like I know why he's there. I know why they put him there. I understand all that. I just think he should win. That's the only thing about it,
Yeah.
Eddie, I can see Goldberg win and have the Fiend return to win the back of the title. If the Fiend comes back, I mean that's payback, but I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. This is funny. I feel sorry for Gage. Goldberg, he is forced to watch Raw, and you can tell by his face expression, he wants to be somewhere else.
Gage doesn't. I've said this earlier this week. Gage looks like, maybe that boy we saw back in 2016. Yeah, he wanted to see his dad wrestle and stuff. And now it's 2021. It's like, yeah, Dad, I've seen it. I've seen the internet videos. Like, I don't care for this anymore. And you guys are using me here because every time the camera pans to him, he just looks hella uncomfortable. Like, he's just like, what am I doing here? I don't even have lines or anything. Like,
exactly. He's probably like, Dad, you're embarrassing the hell out of me. Stop dragging me over here. I can see Goldberg winning because WWE now is crown jewel.
Oh, please.
That's actually a good point. I'm not gonna lie. T Nation Dog Dan, he wants to know what DWE stands for.
Well, it's got to have the double meaning. Like my second name's William, so it's Dan William Entertainment, Dan's Wrestling Entertainment. Bit of a double meaning, yeah. All right, we'll see. With the whole Becky Lynch thing, I think the reason they are going to pull a trigger on it because if Punk is all the rumors, 99.9% of the rumors is that he returns Friday. Obviously, WWE, they're going to look to match it, squash their return with Becky returning sort of out, try outdo the news and flood it with Becky instead of everyone talking about Punk.
I could see it happening. I just don't know if it'll drown out the noise from Punk showing up because it's like, he's been gone for like 7 years, so it's like I think it maybe have too much of a big impact. If Bobby could beat Goldberg clean, that will make Bobby look very dominant, strong, and unstoppable. And I like that. Hope Bobby wins this Saturday. Yes, it'll add on top of whatever he's already done in his title run if he beats Goldberg. Yeah. All right, so let's kick it over to the last match of SummerSlam before we get into NXT quickly. And it is the main event. You all know what it is. It is John Cena returning to face Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Not much of a build. But again, it didn't really need that much of a build. It kind of sells itself. Cena Reigns. They had to go with a part-timer because nobody can really match up to Reigns right now. And I think Reigns just wins. I mean, Cena, he's not going to do much with the title if he wins it. If he wins it, he breaks the record. But I just think, like I've said a million times, Reigns needs to hold on to that title for years on end because nobody's at his level. Mekz, what about you?
You've said all that needs to be said, man. Roman wins, Roman retains, Roman smashes him, Roman pins him. We're not ready, even as a fan base, we're not ready to see Roman lose this title yet. The time is not now. It's not John Cena's time. And yeah, like you said, that's news to my ears that John Cena is going to be sticking around for at least a couple more weeks post SummerSlam. I never knew that, but he what he needs to do is do the job to Finn Balor after he's done the job to Roman. Give Finn Balor the rub. That it's Roman all the way, man. That's it.
Yeah, I think Roman wins, and then Finn Balor's the next guy in line to get beat, to get beat by Roman. What about you, Dan? What do you think?
This is gonna be. I'm praying it's gonna be as good as Roman and Edge was. Like, no, so thing is, a lot of people can actually get involved in this match. We saw Corbin steal the briefcase. Can Corbin try to cash in? Which then you'll see Big E come out to obviously chase Corbin, get his Money in the Bank contract back. Finn Balor might even hop in the mix, just like, he might decide to cost Cena because Cena took his match. All these parts will play. It's going to be very sports entertainment, very old school, similar to what the Edge was. That's what I think it'll play out. I think maybe Corbin might try cash in, Big E will come out, this creates chaos, and then in that chaos, that's when Balor sneaks in. We get that Prince Balor, the one that we loved in it when he went back down to NXT. And we get that Balor costing Cena, and honestly, that's a good way then for Roman to keep looking strong, keep the belt.
Yeah, it could happen because, like I said, Cena's sticking around just for a couple shows after that, so it may happen. But it will be interesting. Now, if you remember WrestleMania 28, the one in Miami with Cena Rock, I think it was 28. That match they didn't have to do a ton because the crowd is the whole match. So they did a very, very old school, not a big spot match. If you watch the match back, it's kind of like, it's not that great of a match, very old school the way they do it. I think this might be similar to that because it's going to be all crowd involvement and they don't have to do a ton. I think John Cena is such a pro that he knows, hey, you know what? We don't have to do a ton in this match. Let's do these little spots here and there. The crowd's going to do the work for us. I think that's what we'll see, but I think it's going to be a banger of a match. To Dan's point, I do think we could see a lot of shenanigans going on around there, especially from everybody that's been involved. I think, though, Corbin needs to be pawning that briefcase to try to make his money back, right? Like, I think he's trying to sell it to other wrestlers. Like, look, $50,000, you get the briefcase, you get a title shot, stuff like that. I think he should try to be pulling that stuff off too. I don't want WWE to be pulling that Corbin stuff on YouTube and TikTok and social media. They need to do it on the shows in general. But easy. We're all picking Roman. And nice and simple. Nothing too crazy there. Quickly, let's get to the chat. And we're going to kick off NXT really quick and knock that out. Eddie, remember when Goldberg said Brock Lesnar is the last? He did say that, right? Like he was the last one he was going to face. That was a lie. Gauge Goldberg's face expressions is me at school. What, like embarrassed like that? Gauge Goldberg actually liked Raw in 2016, but he doesn't anymore. But Daddy Goldberg wants him to watch Raw and skip his football games. Yes, that's exactly what's going on there. What if Bobby Lashley loses the WWE Championship, then he gets released 1 week later? That would be shocking. That'd be pretty crazy.
That would be very shocking.
That would be nuts if that happened. My mind say Roman, but my heart says John Cena. I want Reigns to win, but I don't see Cena losing two times to Reigns. I think Roman will retain the Universal Championship, but I want Cena to win the Universal Championship because if he loses twice to Roman. I don't really think that even matters at this point, like how many times he's lost to Roman, because it's Roman Reigns. I mean, right? You know what I'm saying?
That's the guy. That's the guy they see the future in, so to speak. So, it is what it is, man. John Cena, they brought him in. He knows his role nowadays, if you like. So, I'll be completely shocked if John Cena wins.
I would be too. I would be definitely shocked. All right, so SummerSlam out of the way. Those are SummerSlam predictions. Let's jump quickly into NXT Takeover 36 the night after SummerSlam, and we're getting to these much shorter cards than SummerSlam. We'll knock out these matches nice and quick. We'll be on our way. We're running over an hour and 30 minutes right now, so we won't try to keep anybody else too much longer. So we get off with this first match. It is Cameron Grimes versus the $1 Million Champion, LA Knight. If LA Knight wins, Ted DiBiase becomes his butler. If Cameron Grimes wins, he's no longer the butler, and he has the $1 Million Championship. I am going with Cameron Grimes because I feel like LA Knight's headed up to the main roster sooner rather than later. What about you, Max? What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's time, Cameron Grimes has done the butler thing, losing his patience. Ted DiBiase is now kind of become like another kind of target, if you like, for LA Knight. And LA Knight's done some great work carrying this. I didn't think this championship, this kind of championship that doesn't mean anything, would kind of stretch this far and be this entertaining. And they've all done a great job of making it so entertaining. But yeah, I think it's definitely time for Cameron Grimes to pick it up, and maybe LA Knight moves on to the main roster, or maybe even Cameron Grimes moves on to the main roster with the title. Who knows?
That is true, and I would like to see Cameron Grimes hold the title with DiBiase's like his manager type, and they can have a lot of fun, like vignettes together and stuff like that. It'd be pretty cool. What about Dan? What do you think about this match? Who do you think is winning, Grimes or LA Knight?
I'll go Grimes just because, like LA Knight, I think he'd be more doing better, bigger things, maybe more towards a title picture. Like NXT's lost a lot of talent, so you got Cole and Pete Dunne. Apart from them two, who really have you got in that title picture? And LA Knight just fits the bill. Big lad, he can fight Joe after, put on a good match. He'll do all them things.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Grimes. I mean, I'm sorry, LA Knight's he's built for the main roster. Right? Like he's like Karrion Kross, guys like that. Like they shouldn't even be in NXT. Should be on the main roster. They're not going to do much in NXT. I know Max hating on my boy LA Knight back in the day, but now it's taking a liking to him. So you love to see it, man.
I'm converted. I love him. Every time I hear his voice, there's a smile that goes across my face, and I'm proper like, what's the word? Engaged with everything he does on TV. Like he's so good. Yeah.
It was just a matter of time. It's sad the $1 Million Champion ain't a real championship. It's not. I mean, it's gonna be something like they just hold on to. I don't think they'll defend it much, but that's probably the right way to go about it. Not defend it a ton. Just kind of have it there in the background. If the situation warrants it, you could defend it, but for the most part, just don't defend the title. All right, so we're all picking Cameron Grimes. I think that's the most obvious one on the card here. Let's take it over to this one. Raquel Gonzalez, NXT Women's Champion, taking on her former friend Dakota Kai, the woman that backstabbed her in the back. No longer friends. They're going after the title. This is an interesting one because it can go a lot of ways. I think it's Dakota Kai's time. She's failed previously before. I think she needs to win it now. It'll be a big spot for her. And I think Raquel Gonzalez, you can't believably really beat her in NXT right now. I think she's more like set up for the main roster because she's so dominant right now. Nobody on the NXT women's roster feels like they could probably beat her. So I think she needs to move up to like Raw or SmackDown. So I think Dakota Kai needs to win. Dan, what about you? What do you think about this match?
Josh, I don't really know what's going on like storyline wise and stuff with NXT. And like they are having a big change. It seems like there's a new direction for them. I feel like this will be the end of an era takeover. This is going to be the last takeover where we see this version of NXT as we know it.
Could be, yeah.
So I think Dakota Kai wins. Takes you more experience, and if they go into a bit more of what they were before, they're going to need that sort of experienced woman in there as well to help out these new developmentals, which seems the direction they're going.
What about you, Max? What do you think about this match?
It's a good shout. I mean, earlier on in today, I was with SCW, the wrestling channel, and I said that Raquel Gonzalez was my pick to retain. But Dakota Kai, like you guys have said, it's now or never for her, honestly. And with this change of direction, and I just liked what Dan just said about, kind of helping to lead the younger talents, because as we all know, Candice LeRae is someone that's just got pregnant. So she might not be around for, a much longer. They might need that kind of help on the show. However, there's still other people and stuff to chip in and help. I will stick with Raquel Gonzalez. Dakota Kai has kind of been on the main roster, if you like, doing dark matches, main event. So maybe she's the one that goes up, if she fails here. But I'll stick with Raquel Gonzalez to get the win.
There you go. I think we're gonna switch it up there, but then you kept the same.
Yeah.
The $1 million man may have to pay the price if he becomes LA Knight's butler. That actually might be kind of interesting if LA Knight does win and he has DiBiase as his butler. See how that works, but I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. See, Nation Dog thinks Raquel's gonna win, so he agrees with you, Mekz. Okay, well, this Walter comment, we're gonna get to that in a little bit. All right, so next thing, Walter versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT UK title. Some of the most hotly anticipated matches on this card, just because we know what we're in store for coming off that first match between the two. These guys are gonna absolutely just murder each other. What I was in the chat for SCW Mekz when they were doing their live stream, and I brought up, I think this match should go to a time limit draw, extend the time at the end. Dragunov gets to win and extend the time in sudden death. He wins it. Then he cuts promos from a hospital bed in the upcoming, like 2 to 3 weeks after this match, because I think just to upplay the fact that he just got these guys murdered each other in there. He has to be in a hospital bed cutting promos, like talking about, the match and everything like that going forward. So I'm picking Dragunov. I think it's time to get the belts off of Walter, because if Walter is ready for something different, like in terms of taking on Joe or coming onto the main roster or something like that. So I'm picking Dragunov. Kick it over to Mekz. I know you're really, really invested in this one.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this match ever since we saw the first one last year in October.
Yeah.
So to see the part 2, I can't wait for. In terms of the result, I think it just has to be Ilya at this point. It's got to be his time. I absolutely loved your idea of going to a time limit draw, extending the time, and then he wins, because that will, even just that alone will kind of emphasize the mountain that he's had to climb to, get over Walter. So I would absolutely love if they could do something like that. But WWE is not usually one to enforce time limits and stuff on matches, so yeah, it would be a surprise. But yeah, that's a great idea, and for me, Ilya has to walk out as champion. So yeah, I'm backing him.
It's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be nuts. We're gonna see an absolute bloodbath between these two guys. It's gonna be super, super physical. Dan, what's your choice?
Oh, like this is huge for Dragunov. Like Walter, he's had that title for so long. It is gonna feel like a massive deal now that Dragunov will win it. I think, there's your next top guy, NXT guy that everyone's gonna want to see is Dragunov. You beat Walter. That is massive after 2-year reign. It's gonna be rare we see out this long a reign again with a title. So I think it is gonna feel like a really big deal, and I believe this takeover's having full fans back. So it's just the crowd's gonna go crazy for it.
Yeah, they're gonna go nuts for this match right here. Martin Carrillo, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Why can't they give Kai the title? She's amazing, and it's amazing. It's one and done for her to the main roster. Yeah, I think she's gonna win it. I think it's her time. She's just, she's been there a while. It's about time she gets her shot at being the champion. See, Nation Dog has not been a fan of Walter's UK title run. He says it's been boring, it's been too long, and that Dragunov needs to win. Also says Cameron Grimes loses. He looks like a loser. Not like Walter, because he doesn't want to come to America. That's one of the reasons he doesn't. That's one of the reasons, he doesn't want to come. He doesn't want to live here permanently or for an extended time to be on the main roster and stuff. That's going to be tough. Martin, if Ilya Dragunov wins, he will need a chest surgery by the time he defends the title for the first time. Yeah, he's gonna have reconstructive pec surgery, because he's gonna be just battered and bruised. Yeah. Sports fan, I see Dunn stepping up to be Dragunov's first challenger. I'm guessing about that.
I don't see Dunn stepping up for the NXT UK title. That's kind of like a been there, done that situation. But I do definitely see Dunn. I don't see Samoa Joe, who I think will win the other match. Spoiler alert. I think he's not going to have a long title run. I think Pete Dunne is being prepped to become the next NXT champion. So yeah, that's what I think Pete Dunne's doing very soon.
Yeah, I think that as well. I think he's gonna go for the NXT title and do that, and I go for the NXT UK. But that's probably gonna be the best match of the night. Some might say it's not, but let's kick it over. Okay, so it's gonna be interesting to see what's the main event. I think the main event is gonna be Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. So we'll kick it over this match, and it's Karrion Kross. Will he come out with Scarlett? Will he not? Who knows? But taking on Samoa Joe for that title. Samoa Joe back into in-ring competition. Hopefully he can stay healthy. I think it's a foregone conclusion that he wins this belt here because of Karrion Kross being on the main roster the past few weeks and being really 50-50 booked there. and being undefeated in NXT. So good damage control from NXT in the way they booked the final segment of this past NXT, having them brawl to kind of save face a little bit because of Karrion Kross's like lackluster main roster run so far. But it all seems geared for Samoa Joe to take this title off of Kross, move up to the main roster, and probably not be booked well. We'll see if Scarlett goes with him, if Scarlett even shows up on TakeOver. But I'm picking Samoa Joe. I think he's going to hold on to win the title here and hold on to it. Who he faces next would be interesting to see. Could be Pete Dunne, could be somebody else, maybe a Kyle O'Reilly or something like that. Kick it over to Dan. How do you see this match going down?
Joe, like, this is, I'm so happy Joe's back in the ring and he's in a title match. Like, it's a shame he's not on the main roster, but I guess NXT does need the star power.
Yeah.
And it's Samoa Joe. Like, when was the last? I can't remember the last time he wrestled. I know he's been injured and he's been on commentary. He's done everything but wrestle in WWE. He's even been fired and rehired. That's how much he's done in WWE. And the fact he's gone back to NXT, I think, it's going to be good for him. Getting the win. Kross will be on Raw, so it makes no sense for Kross to win. So it's going to be a fun match. We know Joe's going to win, and it'd be really interesting to see who he fights next.
It will be interesting to see. Mekz, what about you? Who you got?
I think it's Joe. I think it's a foregone conclusion, like you were saying. My big sigh before I answered is more of a, how did we get here with Karrion Kross? Completely messed up a guy that was invincible, still is invincible in NXT. Hasn't lost a match in NXT since he signed. But of course, we've been seeing what's been happening on the other show in regard to his booking. Complete mess. This is not the way this should have ended. If they wanted to take the title off of Kross, they had the chance in the Fatal 5-Way back at In Your House to take the title off him then in a way that kind of made a bit more sense. But here we are. Predictable match. Should still be a very good match, a very physical match, which I'm looking forward to. But it's got to be Joe at this point, doesn't it?
I think it has to be, man. Like, but it's sad because you see what's in store for Karrion Kross on the other side. It's just it's rough, man. It's rough. I do hope Scarlett is there for TakeOver because it adds to his whole package. The whole ambiance of everything of Karrion Kross. It really takes away a lot from him if they don't do it. What can Walter do more with his UK title reign besides be a champion for 1,000 days? That's pretty much all he can do. He's going to dominate. That's it. I mean, I think it's cool. I think NXT is being booked by Vince because why did Karrion Kross not come out with Scarlett? I don't think Triple H would have done that, and I'm glad they did that. I guess it might be an edict coming down from Vince. It's like, don't put Scarlett with him until I tell you to, or something like that.
So they said that Scarlett was never meant to be with him from the jump, and that Scarlett was meant to come and kind of unlock his inner gladiator and stuff like that. So that's why he was losing and stuff in the first place. That was the plan. That's always been the plan, apparently.
Plan sounds like it sucks, man. To be honest with you. That sounds like the best plan, man. I'm not really feeling it. Oh God, I'm sad. I'm a Karrion Kross guy. I like him a lot. I'm sad. Like it irks me like the way I already see the tea leaves how it's gonna turn out. Sports fan. I see Walter being Joe's first title feud. That would be awesome, and it would. That means his title run will not last that long because Walter's taking that belt from him.
Yeah. For what, from Joe?
Yeah, from Joe. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing: is Walter staying in America?
That's the problem.
If he is, then fair enough. But I don't think he is.
It's gonna be tough, man. I don't know what they're gonna do. Put him up in a mansion for the state. You can just stay here. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Martin Carrillo, we haven't seen Scarlett since Kross went to Raw. I'm 100% sure it's done to face Joe for the NXT title if he stays with WWE. Again, because there's the contract situation with Pete Dunne. If he stays, I think he's probably more plausible than Walter because of Walter's thing where he doesn't want to stay in the US.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, you're right. I think it's definitely more him than Walter. Walter's gonna go home.
Yeah. Samoa Joe will be the first 3-time champion, NXT champion if he does win.
Yep.
In Impact Wrestling, Karrion Kross was by himself and was fine, but never won a title. He could be booked by himself, but it's the character that they have him currently as. Like, it needs Scarlett.
It needs the pageantry, the whole production of everything around him. Like, them stripping that back has just absolutely killed him for me more than anything. Like, imagine that like on a WrestleMania entrance way. You see what I mean? Like, they've just completely killed him and made him seem so ordinary.
Well, it's kind of like when Rusev was with Lana, when they took Lana away and everything like that, kind of killed the whole aspect of the character, the whole Russian gimmick and all that stuff like that. Really killed a lot of it. Mark Carrillo, it's interesting. What if Joe doesn't win? How would you guys book that?
Oh,
if who doesn't win, Joe?
If Joe doesn't win.
What it's gonna be like? What, like, so how is he gonna drop the title? And the whole good thing with Joe dropping the title, possibly winning the title, is because he's very believable in terms of the guys that could take it off Kross. The rest of the guys that we've seen go up against Kross have all been very, pretty much in terms of weight, cruiserweights. So that's why it doesn't look believable at all. Half the size of him and cruiserweights in terms of their weight. So yeah, it's got to be Joe. There's literally a lack of people that it could be to believably, beat Karrion Kross. Like I can't even imagine what would happen if it's not Joe.
Unless there's somebody that comes out to attack Joe, and that's how they set up another feud. I don't know. Maybe Walter comes out and attacks Joe, or
unless they do something like send Kevin Owens down to the NXT or someone like that. Like, yeah, but they have a brilliant chance to do it. They had a great chance the first time in the Fatal 5-Way, didn't take it. Joe coming back and being able to wrestle, this is their second chance at redemption. They better just do it this time.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so we got that match out of the way. We're all picking Joe, all three of us. Now, what I think is gonna be the main event of the show. It's gonna be the 3 stages of Hell match. The undisputed finale is what it's being called. Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. The first match, traditional match. The second match, street fight. And if there's a third match needed, it will be a steel cage. Obviously, 2 out of 3 falls match. I hate because you already know the outcome. They're fighting towards that third match. They're not going to announce a third match being a cage match and not give it to you. So you already know it's going to be a 1-1 and they're going to fight for the third fall. That's why I'm not a huge fan of 2 out of 3 falls matches, because it's kind of obvious. I do think O'Reilly comes out on top because of Cole's contract situation if he does go to the main roster or he does leave. So I think O'Reilly holds on here, wins out the feud, and then maybe there's bigger things for O'Reilly on NXT if they even keep him there. But I'll kick it over to Mekz. What do you think?
Yeah, I think O'Reilly is going to win. Before, the Adam Cole contract situation kind of came to light, O'Reilly was always going to be my pick for winning this feud overall. We'll get all the way to the cage match because that's what usually happens on 2 out of 3 full matches. We go all the way. And yeah, I think Kyle O'Reilly wins. Even Adam Cole, I don't know, does he have an emotional farewell in the middle of the ring, in the middle of the cage before he goes to main roster or elsewhere?
A little curtain call moment inside the cage, eh?
Yeah, who knows? But God, I think that is the story that's kind of going to steal, the headline, because potentially he could lose that match on Sunday night and literally turn up in Dynamite on Wednesday. There's no non-compete or anything like that stopping him. So yeah, Kyle O'Reilly for the win here. But yeah, Adam Cole's future is what's gonna probably steal the headlines.
That's probably why I'd be on the last thing on the show too. Maybe something happens at the end. Maybe it's a wink to like he's actually gonna stay or something like that. Maybe he says a goodbye, something like that. But Dan, what do you think? Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, 2 out of 3 falls.
Well, I don't like Kyle O'Reilly as this top baby face. I just don't do it for me as a singles guy.
I agree.
Like it doesn't seem natural. But like Cole, like I think WWE do value him highly. I think you're not, if you're not valued, you're not going to get offered £1 million contracts from what we've been hearing. So I think they are I think it's bigger than just they don't want him to go to AEW, because they know he goes main roster. He's such a good wrestler, and I think he goes above the bracket of Vince Barry and guys. I think he would go there and he'd straight away be a big time player, and I think he'd actually be quite successful main roster, where you can see where the direction is with Cole. You can see his main event. You can see he's got that cool factor about him. So I'm gonna say Kyle O'Reilly for the win. And with Cole, I think he'll stay in WWE, go to the top of Raw, top of SmackDown, whatever.
I think, to be honest with you, I think Adam Cole will get the what do you call it, the AJ Styles treatment. AJ Styles was somebody you didn't think he was going to be booked well when he was there. I think he'll get similar booking. I think AJ Styles is not the guy Vince likes, but he saw how good he was in the ring. and everything like that, that he may see the same thing in Adam Cole and kind of let all that other stuff go away and not be a Vince guy, but still push him honestly like he did AJ Styles. At least what I'm hoping for, because I don't want him to go to AEW because it's just too many damn guys in AEW, to be honest with you. I don't want to see another guy show up there.
That's a good shot. I mean, I want him to stay in WWE as well, but I don't want him to sign a long contract in case they mess him up, so that, you know, within 18 months to 2 years he can leave if they are, you know, messing him up. But yeah, there's too much potential. This guy could main event WrestleMania, you know. He's that good. But at the same time, you know, what do you think? We saw in the last week, he said that he's keeping his Twitch channel. So do you think that's quite telling as to where he's going? Is he gonna go to AEW? Is he gonna stay NXT? Those are the places that will allow something like that.
It could be in his contract. You never know.
Yeah, or has he brokered a deal to go to the main roster and still keep his Twitch? So yeah, it's literally going to be very interesting in the next week or so to see the outcome of this.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. He could have a deal because he's part of Up Up Down Down, that he gets like some type of amnesty with the Twitch stream because he's part of the umbrella of Up Up Down Down, and that's part of WWE, stuff like that. It could be a thing. All right, so let's finish out these comments and then we're gonna end stream. Eddie, Karrion Kross is coming back to the main roster facing Roman Reigns. I see it coming. That'd be pretty cool. I'd be down with that. C Nation Dog, I wish I was born when the Attitude Era was happening. Heard it was really good. You missed a lot of good stuff. You really did. You missed a lot of you missed a ton of star power is what you missed. That's what you missed right there. A ton of star power.
Wrestling at its height.
Yes.
Like literally.
Where it will never, ever, probably ever reach again.
Nope.
Martin Carrillo, the thing we would all want is the draft after SummerSlam. I'm tired of same things on both shows, especially the mid card. Yeah, I mean, I think they pushed the draft back to October, I think. So we're gonna have to wait even longer. Yeah. All right. So either Adam Cole win or they will be friends again. And they will be friends again, or Kyle will win and Adam Cole leaves. All right, so he's saying that if Adam Cole wins, they'll kind of hug it out and kind of, you know, romance it up. Or if Kyle O'Reilly wins, Adam Cole's leaving to either AEW, somewhere else, or the main roster.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind another situation like an Adam Cole loss and he's in the middle of the ring and you just see someone like Kevin Owens come out and it's like, you know, come with me sort of thing. That could be a good way to kind of get him to the main roster.
That's true. It could be a way to get him to the main roster. Yeah. Wrestling is bigger than it's ever been at the moment. What great about it is that you can choose a favorite superstar or pick a character you feel you relate to. It's truly amazing the things we invent. I would say that's probably more with AEW than it is with WWE. Yeah. Martin Carrillo, the only true guy that smashed the barricade was AJ because of his skills and not his height, to be honest. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't, but in terms of marketing, the way Vince likes to market and stuff like that, it's just he broke the mold kind of. He was the exception to the rule. AJ was. It's like he came straight to the main roster, no NXT, and he excelled in the ring so much that he reminded him like a Shawn Michaels type. That's why he pushed him the way he did. BFW Wrestling Podcast. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. Thank you for joining us. Hey, guys, looking forward to the weekend's festivities. Should be an awesome weekend, a ton of fun. We'll be doing reviews right after each show live, hopefully West Coast podcast for both. Martin Carrillo, if Vince likes someone, they can give them what they want, right? Talking about Adam Cole's situation. Yeah, if he does, he'll kind of, you know, he'll back up the Brinks truck for you.
Yeah.
So it will be pretty interesting. But with that being said, that is the end of our prediction stream. We went close to 2 hours long. I appreciate Mekz and Dan for sticking with me for this long. Apologize for how long we went, but I wanted to cover both shows, just knock it out. NXT Takeover 36 and SummerSlam. I appreciate everybody who joined us in the comments section, all your wonderful comments, questions, and opinions. Thank you to Mekz. Thank you to Dan. Make sure you sub to both their channels. Their links are in the description section below. And we'll catch you guys on the next one for those reviews of NXT Takeover and SummerSlam. Make sure you tune in Friday too for Rampage and SmackDown. Again, thank you, Mekz. Thank you, Dan, for joining me, and we'll catch you guys later.